Now 3.19 Java statements. This is the last topic in this chapter. Already I explained to you an expression. An expression is a combination of operators and operands strictly according to the rules of the syntax rules of the language. An expression is a combination of operators and operands strictly according to the rules of the language. Okay. Now, when an expression becomes a statement, now we see C++ you are writing. This is an expression because this is an operand, this is an operator. Now, whenever it is terminated by a semicolon, it is called statement. A is equal to B plus C. Then this is an assignment statement. In this manner, every time we write an expression and terminate with a semicolon, then it will be an instruction to the compiler, and compiler performs a task according to this instruction. Now we can write several types of statements in Java. Now there are totally 6 types of statements are there. First one is expression statements. Expression statements. Second, selection statements. Third, loop statements. Fourth category, jump statements. Fifth one, synchronization statements. Sixth, exception handling statement. Now these are the 6 categories of statements: expression statements, selection statements, loop statements, jump statements, synchronization statements, and exception handling statements. Now so far we discussed the expression statements only. Every time we are writing an expression, we are terminating it like this, and these are called, whatever we have used so far are called expression statements. An expression is terminated by a semicolon, and it will become an instruction to the compiler. Compiler executes that instruction. Okay. And thereafter selection. Actually in the next chapter, 4th chapter, we discuss this. Java provides selection control structures. Every time whenever you have to take a decision, one condition is there. The condition is true or condition may be false. So subject to condition we take a decision, that we select. Suppose if working day, then your program, else different program. You see that in real life also, suppose your program on a working day in one fashion, your program on the holidays different fashion. So this is the condition. If it is a working day, this is your program is A. If it is a holiday, your program will be B. Understand? So for this purpose we use selection statements, Under selection statements, if else if, nesting of if else, switch, these statements we use. That is selection. Thereafter loop statements. Loop statements means sometimes we have to perform jobs repeatedly until we get the result. For example, you have to learn by heart a poem. For by hearting a poem, what you do? You recite it. You recite it. How many times? Same action you are performing. How many times? Until you remember, until you memorize the poem, you recite it. Understand? For this type of in calculations also, we have to perform the same thing. So for 10 years you have to calculate interest. So every year you calculate interest and go on adding. Ultimately you can find out total amount of interest. So this is for that purpose an action is to be repeated. Repeatedly we do that until we achieve the task. Suppose one more example I give you. 10 liters of milk you have to pour, then you have 1 liter mug, 1 liter vessel with you. Now what to do? 10 liters of milk you have to deliver. Then what to do? Same action 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are repeating. So for this type of statements we use loop statements. Okay. Now thereafter jump statements. For loop also 3 types of loops are provided. Those are while loop, for loop and do while loop with different features. Okay, all are loops only. That is loop statement. Thereafter jump statements. Sometimes we require jump. Actually one simple situation I tell you. You created, you do not know how many iterations are required. Let us take this poem case. Poem case, you have to by heart the poem. If you have to learn by heart the poem, how many recitals are required, do you know? You do not know. That's why you mentally prepare for n type of recitals. When you stop, because you cannot specify 10 or 5, you do not know. After 5 recitals you memorize it, after 10 recitals you memorize it, or 14 recitals you memorize it. So you go on doing this. Then what happens? The loop is running. At particular point of time you get confidence. I memorize this poem. Then you should come out of the loop. Am I right or not? Then what is required? Come out of you have to jump out of the loop. Then for that purpose you have to we have to use these jump statements like break, continue, return, etc. statements we use. One more example I give you. Suppose you want to collect 1 lakh rupees contributions for a cause. Then you are approaching different people for contributions. Do you know how many people are required? How many people you have to approach to collect 1 lakh rupees? You do not know. Now what to do? You approach every contributor and ultimately every time you find the sum. At one point of time you get greater than or equal to 1 lakh. Greater than or equal to 1 lakh, why I mentioned, actually at one point of time 99,500 you got. Okay, next contributor you may give 1,000 rupees. Understand? That's why not exactly equal to. In this case, sometimes we have to take into consideration of the real time environment, real time facts and all that. So whenever first time it cross 1 lakh, you stop your iterations. You don't no more approaching people for contributions. So in such context, jump statements are required.